Good afternoon, DIVANAUTS. This is Cronista de Indias, Professor Andrea Lorena Fernández. Thank you for viewing this channel on everything and anything Latin American studies. In the previous episode of Latin American Divas, Sor Juana Inés de la Cruz, Poetry, Love, and Self-Fashioning, we began the triptych dedicated to the 10th Muse by using her poetry. We explored Sor Juana Inés's adherence and rejection of Baroque poetic conventions, particularly with depicting women and men in 3 poems, one for men, one for her patron, friend, lover, Maria Luisa Manrique de Lara, and the last, a self-portrait where the muse refuses the poetic model she uses to depict others. The premises of Petrarchism and Neoplatonism may also be found in Baroque theater. For more details, you need to see Lope de Vega's El arte nuevo de hacer comedias en este tiempo. Sorry, Lope, for now, we're going to have to wait on you. You're going to have your own season in the future. For episode 7 of season 1, Sor Juana Inés de la Cruz, Theater of Mirrors in Los Empeños de una Casa, I want you to imagine yourself inside of Las Meninas, a Baroque painting by Diego Velázquez from 1656. In this painting, the master toys with our perception of reality. Is the Princess Maria Teresa staring at her parents, or are they reflected in a mirror? Is that a painting also? Is the painter working on a giant canvas where we are the sitters? Are we part of King Philip's court or some kind of universal spectator? These very same questions occur in the theater of Barroco de Indias, and no playwright is more masterly at the game of mirrors than the Minerva of America. Sorry, Lope, you might be the master, but she is the boss of you. She's better than you. In this episode, we will explore Los Empeños de una Casa, a comedia de capa y espada, or comedia de enredos, in terms of 1. Historical context of its composition, 2. A synopsis of the 3 acts, 3. A meta-theatrical event, 4. Rewarding androgyny. Los Empeños de una Casa, also known as the House of Trials, from 1683, is a comedia de capa y espada, or sword and cape theater, or a comedia de enredos, theater of intrigue. It was written for a festival celebrating the birth of Virreina Maria Luisa de Paredes' firstborn, to welcome also the Archbishop Francisco Aguilar y Seijas, a notorious misogynist, to New Spain. This character, Archbishop Aguilar Seijas, will become Sor Juana's arch-nemesis in the next episode. The playwright never witnessed the production since she was a cloistered nun. The play was first represented in the house of a prominent citizen, Don Fernando Deza, and was immediately successful across the empire. Let's go for a synopsis. In Act 1, Leonor and Carlos intend to elope and are stopped by Pedro, who wants Leonor whether she likes it or not. Ana falls in love with Carlos. In Act 2, Carlos and his manservant, Castaño, both outlaws, take refuge in Pedro's house, where Juan is also hiding. During the night, everybody speaks to the wrong person. They're all in love with each other or in love with the wrong person, but they're all talking to the wrong person. Carlos, the true lover, never doubts Leonor in spite of the trickery and his unreliable senses. In Act 3, Castaño addresses Leonor's father, Rodrigo, in full drag. Pedro believes him to be Leonor, and the manservant promises to wed Pedro to avoid further harassment. At the end, in Barroco de Indias and Comedia de Capa y Espadas, true fashion, there's a triple wedding. Only Pedro remains forever alone. He is being punished for wanting to force himself on Leonor. Meta-theater. In the introductory loa to Los Empeños de una Casa, the allegorical figures of fortune, merit, diligence, and opportunity discuss the happiness surrounding the viceregal couple with their new son and their archbishop. Stage directions and side comments by the characters show they are aware of being theater characters. Juan, for example, always draws his sword when angry, while Leonor is consistently dismissive towards Pedro. This is a symmetrical play with 3 acts. It begins and it ends outside of the house. Leonor, the leading lady, and Castaño, the pícaro or the fool, have matching monologues in acts 1 and 3. Let's go over Leonor's monologues. She is the woman scholar. She says, "Yo nací noble, este fue mi mal, el primer paso. Decirte que nací hermosa, presumo es excusado, pues lo atestiguar tus ojos y lo prueban mis trabajos. Pero es preciso al informe que de mis sucesos hago, aunque apese la modestia, la vergüenza de contarlo. Para que entiendas la historia, presuponer asentado que mi discreción la causa fue mi principal daño. Inclinéme a los estudios desde mis primeros años, con tan ardientes desvelos, con tan ansiosos cuidados, que reduje a tiempo breve fatigas de mucho espacio. Conmuté el tiempo industriosa a lo intenso del trabajo, de modo que en breve tiempo era el admirable blanco de todas las atenciones, de tal modo que llegaron a venerar como infuso lo que fue adquirido por Lauro." Here's a translation in English. "I was born noble. This was my first misstep. To tell you that I was born beautiful, I presume must be excused, for your eyes bear witness as my labors do prove. It is appropriate in this report of my deeds told, though it surpasses modesty and shame to tell, so you may understand my tale. Presuppose as a given that my discretion was my primary harm. I lean towards studying from my earliest years with such ardent sleeplessness, with such anxious care, that in a brief time my reduced fatigue taking much space, I commuted industrious my time to the intensity of work, so that in a short while I was the admirable target of all the attention, and thus they got to venerate as innate that which I acquired with laurels." We should note that Leonor says that nobility and beauty were a given. She was born with that. But the last item, her intelligence, is self-cultivated, and she values that third one above the previous 2. Sounds a little bit like Sor Juana herself. Check out the next episode for a little bit more on Sor Juana's regard for women's intellect. Castaño, dressed in drag in Act 3, delivers his monologue exclusively to the women of the audience, excluding the males. He points directly to Sor Juana Inés's authorship and references conventual life. Here goes Castaño's monologue. "Leonor me dio unas polleras y unas joyas que trajese cuando quiso ser Helena de este París boquirrubio, y las tengo aquí bien cerca que me han servido de cama, pues si yo me visto de ellas, habrá Toledo tapada que en mi garbo se parezca. Pues ahora bien, yo las saco, vayan estos trapos por fuera. Leonor gave me these skirts and these jewels when she wanted to be Helen for Paris the golden-beaked, and I have them close by. They have served me as the bed. Were I to wear them, would there be a covered woman in all of Toledo who resembles me? Well then, I take them out. These garments are coming out. Jesús, qué rica tela." Oh, here's a fabric. "No hay duda que esté bien, porque como soy morena, me está el cielo azul." He says, "Jesus, what lovely fabric. Doubtless it suits me, since I am a brunette. Of the heavens, blue makes. ¿Qué les parece, señoras, este encaje de ballena? Es cierto que estoy hermosa. Dios me guarde que estoy bella. Cualquier cosa me está bien, porque el molde es rara pieza. Quiero acabar de alinearme, que aún no estoy dama perfecta. Los guantes, acuesto sí, porque las manos no me vean, que han de ser las de Jacob, con a Esau me parezca." What do you think, ladies? He says he addresses the women of the audience specifically. "Of this luxurious lace. It is true that I am beautiful. God bless me, I am gorgeous. Anything looks good on me because the model is a rare piece. I want to finish seasoning myself, for I am not yet a perfect dame. The gloves, those, yes, so nobody sees my hands, which look more like Jacob's, make me more like Esau. Vaya pues, damería, menudo el paso, derecha estatura, airioso el brío, inclinada la cabeza. Y si no es al un lado la mano en el manto envuelta, con un ojo recluso, con el otro de fuera. Y vamos ya, que encerrada se malogra mi belleza. Temor llevo de que algunos de mí se enamoren. So here's the part where he gets dressed. So then, like a lady, short steps, upright in stature, disdainful demeanor, lowered head, neither here nor there, off to the side, the hand wrapped in my veil. So he's going to dress like so, with only one eye uncovered. This was the fashion of the period. This is how you got away with being outside and not being recognized. Neither here nor there to the side, a hand wrapped in the veil, with one eye covered. Let's go now, since locked up my beauty consumes itself. I fear that some rogue will fall in love with me. With this short monologue, Castaño not only is dressing himself up in drag, he's asking the women of the audience for their opinion in fashion, and concludes that men will mistake him for other women since they look similar wearing the veil and with only one eye covered. Let's go to rewarding androgyny. There is a triple wedding at the end of the play. Leonor, beautiful, reasonable, and a scholarly woman, marries Carlos, a strong, tender, and sensitive fellow. They marry for love. Ana, who is a liar, irrational, but very creative musician, marries Juan, who is a violent fellow, to fulfill the traditional Marianista, machista, Hispanic code of honor with their base desires. Theirs is a loveless union. Castaño's performance in drag earns him the love of Cecilia, Leonor's servant, and he gets rewarded for dressing up as a lady. She ends up actually liking it. The Hispanic machista and Marianista honor code is heavily criticized by Sor Juana in this play. Men negotiate marriages without consulting the women. The women are sexually interchangeable in their veils. In fact, the men can't tell them apart from one another. Pedro, the villain, hits on Castaño in drag and ends up forever alone for wanting to force himself on not only Castaño, but he thinks it's Leonor, so he's trying to force himself on a lady. In conclusion, in this episode, we studied The House of Trials by Sor Juana Inés de la Cruz in 4 ways: the context in which the play was written, the plot, Barroco de Indias meta-theater, and rewarding androgyny with a triple wedding. We were amazed with the autobiographical details in Leonor's speech, who regards her self-cultivated intellect as with more appreciation than nobility and beauty, which she got for free. With Castaño, we witnessed a man enjoying women's garments, asking for fashion advice only from the female spectators, and being rewarded by his beloved with marriage for his efforts to understand women. In the next episode, we address Sor Juana Inés's defiance of the Archbishop Francisco Aguilar y Seijas, whose performance as Sor Filotea is not nearly as admirable as Castaño's. After the Virreina María Luisa de Paredes returns to Spain, the cleric forces Sor Juana to renounce scholarship, but not before she pens the most magnificent defense of women's intellect. Join us next time for Latin American Divas, Season 1, Episode 8, Sor Juana Inés de la Cruz and Sor Filotea, The Answer, The Trial, Immortality in Prose. If you like the channel, the content, have a thought, leave a comment below. Hit that subscribe button and follow Cronista de Indias. You'll make us all very happy with your support. So you also never miss an episode of Latin American Divas. And remember, if you're not doing epic shit, you're not doing anything at all. ¡Viva la revolución!